Me. I am a memoir. I said a memoir. The meaning of Mariah Carey.
Hello, Lamely. We are we are the elusive Sham2. This is Fab. That is Posh. Normally, we read the Mariah Carey memoir, The Meaning of Mariah Carey. But here, this week, in Me, I Am a Memoir, The Meaning of Mariah Carey, we're listening to Rainbow, the album. We've gotten through the first 5 tracks, so there's only 9 more to go.
It's fine. We can do this. This won't be 18 episodes.
We can do this. It'll be fine. So if you've spun up your disc and have a listen along, we will be starting off, breaking it on down with Ex-Girlfriend.
Breaking me on down. All right, so Ex-Girlfriend
Yes.
was a first listen for me, written by Mariah Carey, Candy Buress, and Kevin Shakespeare Briggs. Shakespeare? I can't. It's like got an apostrophe in it.
Yeah.
You've been singing this
I
in
have.
the lead up. I'm not as immune to it as I used to be. No, I'm more immune to it. Okay, good. I'm not crying anymore. So I'm curious as to how you feel about this one since you've been singing it. Is it a favourite? What's happening?
It's I really like it. I think it's cute. It's very poppy. It's got kind of a 70s by way of 90s vibe, which is weird. Like it's like I know Bliss is kind of a bit sort of 70s style, but this is very I kind of like it's one of those songs that just it jams in my head.
Yeah.
So I love so many of the songs on this album, but this one just gets in there, and I will walk around for the rest of the day going, "Ex-girlfriend, you can't have him. It's about time that you found you a new man." Don't you know? Don't you know?
God, you're never gonna know. So it's funny that you say 70s and 90s because I said that it feels exactly early 2000s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And the thing, I agree that it's definitely the earworm that gets stuck in your head.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure I want it there. So this is not a record low or anything of that nature. I just think it feels a little un-Mariah.
Yes, I see what you mean.
It feels like a girl group track of that time. Again, it's got the No Scrubs kind of vibe. Mm-hmm. But it almost feels like, TLC did well. Let's have another group that are like that.
Yeah.
Then we'll give them the leftovers. Kind of what this felt like a little bit. Dare I say, a little Regular Person album track. But I will say, like you said, that's kind of how it felt.
But I love like her deep voice, like her low
I was going to say,
tones.
I literally wrote Mariah's vocals, as always, save it.
Yeah.
I think it's the song itself and it's not Mariah. It's the song itself.
I love that it's such a mix up, like, especially because we've come out of something so like aimed at, a movie theme or as she said, a TV show in Japan.
Yeah.
after Tonight, which feels like
it was this song on Alyssa Milano's discography in Japan.
Oh my God. Speaking of, like, I didn't mention it when we were talking about Can't Take That Away, Mariah's theme, but there are a few moments in that video where she looks like Alyssa Milano.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's a couple of moments where she's like staring out the window in the rain, and I'm like, I'm just imagining the two other sisters turning up behind her.
Do you know the weird thing that's starting to happen? And I've not been able to talk to anyone about it because it sounds crazy. Do you watch Younger?
No.
So
is that Hayley Duff's more talented and popular sister?
Yes. So Hilary Duff is one of the stars. And for some reason, in the last couple of seasons, particularly the final one that's just come out, it's Alyssa Milano with blonde hair. There is something about her facial structure and now the way that she's, I suppose, her acting has morphed as she's gotten older. She's not a little kid anymore.
Yeah.
There's just something, everything is giving me Alyssa. And I'm like, I don't know how to tell people this because they don't really look alike and yet it's all there.
Has she suddenly got gigantic boobs like Alyssa Milano did at some point?
She's had a couple of kids, so I think there might be some buzzies.
But I think that's happened with Mariah. Like,
I think it's also
the boobs are really big, and she's got the big white teeth, those big high cheekbones.
Yeah, the teeth, and it's the styling of Hillary. As
I think it's also
red lipstick.
Maybe if we looked through their call sheets, we would find the same makeup.
Possibly.
Working on all three of them at various stages of their careers.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, I mean, this is all heaven. I mean, Alyssa Milano is not someone you'd be upset to look like.
I know, she's Alyssa Milano.
Yeah, anyway. Thank you for the Alyssa chat indulgence. So do you know what is also funny about Ex-Girlfriend? I think this would have been my favourite song had I have had the album at the time. Because it does have everything I probably looked for. It's just now with that hindsight and as music has moved on, it's very rare that I feel Mariah's music is caught in a time. Yeah. And this kind of feels like that.
I get you.
So that's why it's kind of not my favourite. God. So what is your score for Ex-Girlfriend?
Look, it's a quick, short song. It's kind of fun. I think it's on the cusp of infinity. I think it's like 5 cusp of infinity. It's not quite one of my infinities, but I do, it does get stuck in my head.
It's stuck in my head because you've been singing it now.
But yeah, I kind of, yeah. Again, it was one of those ones that I look at the track listing of the album and I'm going, I think I know that one. And then I hear it, I'm like, oh, well, that's going to be in there for about a month.
Yeah.
And that's on an album with Heartbreaker.
That's true. All I can think of is now UK Hun from RuPaul's Drag Race UK. Have you heard that?
No.
It's just the lyrics are literally ding dang dong sing song, and people put it. It's like a meme.
Eurovision song,
yeah, and everyone sees it now. And as soon as you see it, you hear it, and it's in your head for 3 weeks. So look, we have to agree to disagree on this one. I went for a 3.75. It is not a favorite for me.
You don't.
I'm sorry, but now it will be stuck in my head like ding dang dong sing sang song, ding dang bong UK Hun. Let's belt on through to the Heartbreaker remix, for which the subtitle I just wrote "Tig Old Biddies."
Tig Old Biddies.
So before we touch on the actual remix, there is a video. So I've written that DJ Clue is there spinning that shit. Mm-hmm. Debrat is there, and Missy, yay, Bikini Raya in roller skates. She washes the car in heels, then lays on it with a painting of herself on the bonnet. Snoop Claus is here. Did Mariah set up a car wash that only Snoop can afford? A la Serena.
Serena's nail salon, but only Oprah.
I know. Debrat and Missy are jamming while Mariah poses. Bianca and Mariah fight in a box. Mariah really wants us to look at her butt. She lip syncs to bits that aren't hers, like with Lauryn Hill. Classic MC. Debrat and Snoop get married, and I'm sad I wasn't invited. Brat breaks the cake. I hope she at least cut herself a slice first. And MC pushes Bianca into suspicious white goo and wins a trophy.
Yay.
Yay. So I do remember this one on the radio, but it was quite a while after the original. So I was so confused. I was like, what? Because it might have actually been one of the first completely reimagined remixes of Mariah's that I'd heard. And I was like, wait, I don't remember Missy on this song. And the chorus is still pretty much intact. So I was like, hang on, what's happening? Although it was fun.
Although she doesn't really sing the song as we know it until that last, until it starts to fade out kind of thing.
Which is actually kind of the part that I was like, you know what? At this point, I don't need it. I'm having fun. I actually didn't need that. I was like, it's in there. I kind of like this new direction. It's quite, I don't want to say, I don't think aggressive is the right word, but it's in your face.
Yeah.
The whole song. Particularly with the rap verses. So I was like, you know what? You could have just not done that and I'd be fine. But I think I enjoyed it more listening now, even more so because I'd been so unmissied in the last album with that song.
Yeah. You weren't
Baby
into
Doll?
that Missy song, Baby Doll.
I was like, I need some Missy in,
but also,
in my Mariah.
how perfectly does she mesh with Missy? Like it is
and
just...
Debrat as well. It's all happening.
Always with Debrat. Like, they're totes besties. Like, every time Debrat turns up, you're like, what are these two up to? Yeah. And, like, when we got to that bit in the book where they ran off to get the chips, I was like, oh, so this has been going on for some time.
Yeah.
Because Debrat is in Glitter.
That's right. That is right. I forget, but that is true.
That is true.
How could I forget?
But yeah, Tig old biddies. And do they bleep motherfucker?
They bleep everything.
Is that the word that's missing? No, but right at the start, there's like a
oh, maybe.
There's a and then nothing, and then two big old titties. Tig old biddies.
Yeah, could be. Is this the one where
I remember
Mariah
Oprah saying
squeals?
Tig old biddies once on Oprah, and I was like, did she get that from Mariah?
Probably.
She got that from Debrat?
Yeah. That's the Oprah version of saying the C word. It's like, oh my God, Oprah just said tig old biddies.
Tig old biddies.
But yeah, I did actually say that the bleep bits take away from it. We need the explicit version, darling.
Does it exist? It must exist somewhere.
It must.
It's I probably have heard it. There are 4,000 different versions of Heartbreaker. Like, there's only 2 on this album. There's about 320 elsewhere.
Yeah, perfect.
Including the one that I've only recently discovered, the live version with the Love Hangover.
Yes. So my last note on this was simply, spank me. Because that made me laugh.
Yeah, it does. Because, like, the first, the JZ version is playful and fun and kind of girly. Whereas you are correct. This is a little more skanky.
Yeah, Mariah is directing us to all of her bits.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, I'm going to bend over in my shorts, and if you can't tell, I'm going to point to it.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's happening.
And they're not even the tig old biddies.
No.
That's another bit.
No. So I'm like...
But just I meant the
I'm
song
picking
itself, like, rather than just the video, but like the song, like the mix of the song feels kind of like... I kind of like that slower beat, that kind of grinding beat that it's got. Like, I'm bouncing when I say it.
I know.
Thinking of Missy having it. Because Missy also, like, there's something about her vocals that also, like...
Oh, yeah.
That make you go, ooh, sexy things happening.
And Missy with a dirty beat, forget about it.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
So for this one, I gave it Spankfinity.
Spankfinity!
I did write next to it. It's probably like a 4.75 to a 5, but Spankfinity is far too good. I've got to go there.
Yeah. It's
got to go to Spankfinity.
Yeah. Anyway, R.I.P. to Bat's grandma, who probably maybe cucked it during this remix. Because it was too naughty. Yeah, Infinity. I love Heartbreaker Remix is as good as Heartbreaker.
I'm surprised how much I enjoyed it. Like, just because I remember it from so long ago and not necessarily understanding what was happening.
Yeah. Or that it was on the album.
Or that it was on the album. All right. So now we have a little interlude. Vulnerability, which was the first listen, written by Mariah. And of this, she just says it creates a smooth transition. Otherwise, it would be like whiplash going from one song to the next.
Yes. That's what I've said about many of these. Like, sometimes the song placement where you go... I don't like that song. And I'm like, yeah, but that is... You can't go from that to that. It's no good. And Mariah knows this.
She's like, I'm not putting any more crap songs on. I'm just going to have an interlude.
I'm going to have a 1 minute and 11 second bit of... Like, it's a bit of Heartbreaker.
Yeah, I did write that. Yeah, Moments of Heartbreaker.
Moments of Heartbreaker done in a more kind of ballad-esque style until she sings Vulnerable into to the heavens. And then we get some Phil Collins.
Absolutely. So I didn't really score this one. It was sort of like, this is
interlude.
Nice. It's an interlude. I did give
I gave it
another one a score.
Interludefinity, if we're scoring.
Great. Okay. But as you said, we head into a little Phil Collins. So Against All Odds, Take a Look at Me Now, which was written by Phil Collins, and it was a cover. Now,
and was from a film.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the film.
It's
it wasn't
a film.
Glitter, I don't care.
The film, I think, was... I think the film was called Bound. Against All Odds. And so, like, Take a Look at Me Now in brackets. I think that's the song title.
Sure.
But yeah, it was a film with, I think, Jeff Bridges and
Sounds about right.
Rachel Ward. It was kind of a film noir-y sort of thing in the 80s.
Still don't know her.
Anyway, this was one of my favourite songs when Phil Collins did it. Yeah.
So we do have, I'm going to take us through because we've got a video, which was the solo version that just had a live video. It's like, oh yes, this is nice.
Yeah.
But then we have a Westlife version, which was not on the album, but it was on some versions of the album. So we're going to incorporate
that was a single.
Because it was the single, and it went to number 1 in the UK.
Yes, of course, because everything Westlife happened in the UK.
Yes. So Mariah met the guys through a friend, and the duet kind of happened naturally. There's a whole story, but it's boring. Yeah. So the video has footage of Mariah and Westlife in the recording studio and whatnot. I really don't know much about Westlife, so I don't know which one is which, except Brian McFadden, because of that one song he sang with Delta. But the one in the second verse with the teeth was pretty good. I've decided his name is Joey. There's also, I don't care. There's also the brunette one from the first verse and the other floppy blonde ones who were just kind of there, like an early Jed Wood. I looked them up now and I reckon I'd give the one called Nikki a crack. Anyway, I guess the video ended.
I love that Brian McFadden's not allowed to sing any of the song. No. But when they do a pan across of the mixing desk, there's 2 channels for him.
Oh, really?
They've written on them. I'm like, don't turn those on.
He bought his own masking tape and Sharpie.
He's also like gigantically tall. Like he's stupidly tall compared to all the other kids. Also, the fact that Westlife were like Boyzone,
they are Boyzone. I was so confused.
No,
when I was
Boyzone was so popular that they made another Boyzone.
Yeah,
and these guys were managed by Ronan Keating.
Oh, really?
He made like his own clones because there were too many horny girls in Ireland who needed
floppy blonde boys,
5 singing men who were just past puberty. Because Toby Sullivan, who I used to do Talking Poofy podcast with, once said, there's a thing about boy bands, and they've cornered the market this with in K-pop, which is it's like a bridge between not being interested in boys and actually having sex. It's like boys that won't penetrate you.
Because they're busy penetrating each other.
That's possibly part of it.
Yeah. I am often baffled by the Ronan Keating thing because I get that he's an attractive enough looking guy. I don't think he's the most attractive man in the world. He can kind of sing, but he's got a very unique voice.
Yes.
And I'm like, is that sexy to women over 45? Look, I guess so.
No, because it was sexy to them when they were teenagers and he was singing
because
Cats in the Cradle and the Silver Spoon.
It was people my mum's age that went mad for Ronan. I remember one of my mum's friends used to blast his duet with Lulu at the bus stop as if she was listening to NWA. Like it was like
it was Ronan and that wasn't Take That. Take That.
No, it was Ronan and Lulu.
Oh my god, she would sing with anyone.
I know, and so it was like, why is it that all of the women of a certain age love Ronan so much? Because it's probably the same thing. It's like they're too tired to be penetrated.
They love Josh Groban. Nice. It's like, well, he's not going to penetrate you either. No. Too busy. He's too busy singing. Like Buble, too stoned.
Oh, the boob. We love the boob. Anyway, so for this song, like on my first listen, I was like, oh yeah, this is fine. On the second listen, I did like it more. But I personally don't love the Westlife version. I'm like, whatever. There's a Mariah version where she duets with herself.
Yeah. And also like, The Westlife version is just, okay, these are the really good bits of the Mariah one. You can sing around those. Don't get in the way.
And to be honest, like the only reason that I'm okay with it is because it got Mariah another number 1.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's one of these things where it's like, I enjoy this. It wasn't my favorite song to begin with. I don't hate it. I just don't think it's gonna hit the highs for me of Open Arms or Ken Lee.
Yeah.
Which is, it's unfair to maybe compare, but it is within that vein of song. But I still gave it a 4. I liked it.
I love this so much as a Phil Collins song. But just because he really reaches, and I did read an interview with her when she said, I felt like he goes so far trying to reach notes that are only just within his grasp. And she's like, I felt like I had to honor that. And it sounds like she is really pushing at that, like when she goes for the big notes at the end.
Bits. Yeah,
it is like, whoa, Mariah. Because this is one of those things where, so with After Tonight and Against All Odds, I feel like what Mariah is doing here is going, oh, so everyone seems to love those singers who don't write their own songs and can just sing whatever hits are written for them, and everyone loves them. Just want to point out, if I wanted to, I could and I did. Too. Now I'm going to go back and write my own song with Snoop Dogg. Because there is part of me that goes, she could have had like a Whitney Houston career where you just sing whatever is handed. Yeah. Whatever is, played it up to you. It's like, here are the songs for Mariah. And she's like, no, I want to make music. And so I feel like this is, After Tonight and this are the songs in this album to go, okay, Sony, here's what you wanted me to do for all of my career. Yeah. Here it is. Here's me doing a big-ass ballad that's a fucking nostalgia trip from the 80s. It was probably on a whiteboard somewhere. A Diane Warren song, tick. And a cover from an 80s ballad, tick. There you go. Here's my album I did in 3.5 minutes.
And quickly sneak in the tick old biddies. Quick, get him in.
Fucking kick that thing out of the park. Because her vocals are... It's one of those songs that when you get to the end of it, you're like, oh, wow, that was amazing. I'm going to put that on again.
I need to lay down.
I need that again. I need to hear that again. Because it starts like at such a much quieter and lower place. Like, Ken Lee starts kind of similarly. But this one, I feel like she takes a much bigger leap from down low to up high. And I kind of love that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
what's your
also there's a dance mix of this that really
is that?
Pumps my nads.
Please never give me that image again.
That was from The Breakfast Club.
Oh Lord!
Judd Nelson says it, and he goes, "Oh, Mo Leary really pumps my nads," and she goes, "Mo yeah." Anyway,
Moe.
Yeah, it's Phil Finity.
Thank you for acknowledging me. I should.
Posh.
That's true. I should say it probably sounded like I didn't enjoy it that much. I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
I should add that in. And I think I enjoyed it more the second time. Again, it's hard when it's a song you already know.
Yeah.
And it's like, obviously Mariah can sing anything, as we've just we've always known.
And I quite like the Westlife version just because it means that when Mariah does her big old belt, it's like, I'm just going to have a little rest now. And you think you're getting some good singing? You think you're getting some good singing?
Nice.
Hang on a minute. Mama's here. Move aside, little boys. Let Mama show you how to really stretch those legs.
All right. The next song is Cry Baby, written by Mariah. Oh my God, we've got Snoop's full song. I was like, Cordoza, Calvin Broadus Jr. Teddy Riley, Aaron Hall, Timmy Gatling, and Gene Griffin went to number 28 in the US. What were they thinking? So
it's the double A side. We can't take that away, Mariah's thing.
True. We've got some notes for this. Okay, so when Mariah invited Snoop to appear on the album Rainbow, she told him or warned him that he'd need to watch his language. And he responded
But Debrat's like allowed to say whatever she feels like.
Whatever she wants. And he said, don't worry, MC. I'm trying to stay on the radio this year. It's also got a sample of Piece of My Love by Guy Sebastian, I assume.
No, it's not.
But we also have a
It was in
moment
high
with
school in 90.
in Hillsong. I mean, what? Demiza, I believe, is the producer. There's a bit of a moment in all of this. All right, so bear with me. This is the producer. I had submitted a bunch of tracks she really didn't like, but you can't always win. I was sitting there with my writing partner, and Piece of My Love by Guy Sebastian came on.
It's not Guy Sebastian.
That bass line, I ran over to the Beverly Hills hotel where Mariah was staying, played it, and she went, "Oh my God, I love it. Get Snoop on it." I had to FedEx the track the next day or it wouldn't make the album. I was like, you want me to get Snoop Dogg, get this song together, get mixed, mastered, everything in one day. So I called Snoop and he was like, I've got this thing going on, but I can't leave the house. You'll have to come to the house to do it.
I can't leave the house. I'm wearing an ankle bracelet.
Stop it. I thought you were going to say, I'm wearing a towel. So the producer was...
The police will get me. Can't leave the house.
So-
Someone's going to shoot me.
Stop it. So he goes to Snoop. Oh my God.
I'm a really camp gangster. I can't go out.
I know.
Someone's going to pop a cap in
stop
my
it.
ass. And not in a good way.
JZ. Notorious B.I.G. as you called him. So, because I know how much there's still to go, I'm pushing through. So he goes over to Snoop's and Snoop says, "This is freaking amazing. I'm ready. Let's go in the booth." And he says, "My favorite thing that Mariah does is go low, middle, high. It sounds like Bone Thugs and Harmony." So I was thinking about the vocals for the song and I was thinking of Breakdown. And I said, "Can we do this little thing?" That's all I'm going to request. I had left to do the Snoop thing and she layered it herself, just like you hear on the song. We friggin' got it done, edited, everything, and on the next day it was sent.
Oh,
So I just thought it was a fun little origin story.
Yeah. It
for
is.
this song.
This is one of my favorite songs. Like, I kind of, like you didn't really love Baby Doll from Butterfly. I feel like this is the maturity of that process of creating Baby Doll. And also the way she talks about this with the, the feeling nostalgic for that hit of Vitamin D. When she's with someone else, like, oh, in my new friend's home, thinking about the other. And it's just like the lyrics are gorgeous. I kind of love that, her first few albums have all been her putting on a mask of maturity, but singing about kind of fantasy lovers and dream lovers.
Yeah,
and,
sure.
It's all like, whereas now she's a bit more experienced, and these are Butterfly and Rainbow, despite having titles that sound like 12-year-old girls have come up with them, are way more mature. Like there's an absolute kind of desperate kind of grown up, maturity to this song that I absolutely love. And I love that it's kind of running counter to Snoop's rap. Like he's like, "Hey girl, you're too beautiful to be crying." It just sounds so creepy. And she's just kind of like giving us this really adult sort of, I've got regrets about this, but I'm here now with this guy, and I wish I was with you, but I know I can't be. Like I love all that, and when the vocals just start to layer upon themselves and become huge at the end, you're like, oh wow, yeah, fuck, she can write a song.
I do like the narrative. It's not one that I've really heard before, to be honest. Like I was thinking about, I was like, I don't think I've heard this done in this way. But we do have a video before we dig too deep.
In extreme widescreen for some bizarre reason.
Yeah. So it's nighttime and Mariah gets a text from Snoop on a Nintendo 64.
No, that was that thing that was really popular back then. Remember, Paris Hilton had one, and like someone guessed that the password was Tinkerbell, which was her dog's name.
God!
And everyone got photos of Lindsay Lohan's boobs.
Makes sense. So Mariah can't sleep. She becomes blurry because of the sleeping pills, I assume. Yeah. And derobes and gets into her bath, aka the ocean. She has She has a splash and pumps some tunes on her CD player. It's time for some cereal, of course. And I've written something, and it's auto-corrected to area. I don't know what it was. Snoop raps from the first ever Visiphone. Mariah pours milk, then spills Baileys on a chessboard. She then throws her glass at the window and it smashes for what feels like an hour and a half. The brief for Mariah's videos for Rainbow seems to be, you're in a house, things are happening, but not enough to fill 5 minutes, so just swirl around heaps.
Could be the video for GTFO.
Yeah, and a lot of her other ones. So the thing with this song that I liked was this feels like Mariah featuring 2000s production, not 2000s production featuring Mariah.
Yeah.
Which I think kind of happened on a little bit of the ex-girlfriend. Or
Yeah.
I did write for the album version, Mariah, editing Mariah. Because this is nice, but I don't need 11 minutes of it.
It's only 5 minutes.
But the video version is shorter.
Yeah.
And I think I like that version a little bit more.
No, I like the
Just 'cause it
long
gets
one.
to the point.
Because again, you know I love a build. And it builds.
And I prefer the girth. So,
Yeah.
this is, you know.
This has got length and girth. It's quite good.
Oh my God.
It
Yes,
doesn't
but
get really fat until the end.
We have just like octuplet DP'd some other albums. It's too much. Okay. Don't want to pop a lung.
But yeah, look, I love Crybaby. It wasn't my favorite when the album first came out. I was like, nah, I don't know about this one. And then it's like I just kept enjoying it. I was like, I think I like you in spite of it. Also because it comes after Against All Odds, which I kept pressing repeat one on. So sometimes I never got to Crybaby.
You really love the ones she didn't write, eh?
I love the ones because she sometimes, I think sometimes she won't go for big notes in her own songs because she wants us to hear the writing.
Yeah, and then in another song, I didn't write this, so I'm going to out-sing the other person.
Yeah.
I've got to do it better than them, otherwise no one will like it.
Yeah. But yeah, and I do really like it now. Like it's one of those songs that I just go, oh yeah. And it feels like it means something. Like there's something really real about the lyrics that in the past she's written kind of idealized lyrics, and these ones feel like this is a real thing. This is how I feel at 5 o'clock, and why is it 5 a.m.?
Yeah.
Why is it 5 a.m. is fucking my life sometimes. You just say, why?
Yeah.
Why is it 5 a.m.? It's not a time for anything. Why am I in a meeting now?
This sucks. Who has meetings at 5 a.m.?
So for this radio, we had a meeting at 5 a.m.
Yeah, gross.
10 years of 5 a.m.
That's
meetings.
disgusting. So for this one, I gave it a 4.75. For the video version, the album version got a 4 because of the length. But overall...
It's not 7 minutes of the beautiful ones.
Oh, God, nothing is that bad. This is infinity next to that.
So it's
Anything
infinity.
is infinity. Yeah, there you go. Sure, whatever. I don't fucking care. I've got to get me some sleep.
Gotta get me some sleep.
From now on, I'll just be like, what score do you want me to give it? Just tell me. I'm too tired.
No.
It's 5 a.m.
You give it your score. 5 a.m. o'clock.
Infinity.
I'm giving it 5 a.m. Infinity.
Okay, great. All right. Hitting up a little Did I Do That, which was a first listen for me, written by Mariah, Craig Bazile. I wish that was my name. Tracy Wapples. I wish that was my name. Joseph Smokey Johnson. I wish that was my name.
So many good names.
And Wardell Joseph Quezerg. I wish that was my name too. So what are your thoughts on Did I Do That?
It's not my favourite. Because it's one of those ones where I remember the sample more than the song.
Yeah.
Like that little screamy bit at the end.
Why is it? Whoa!
What
Good God, y'all.
Yeah, it's fine. It's like I feel like this was made in with the same time pressure of Emotions, but has been far more successful with much better songs on it. Like a better spread of songs, matron. But Did I Do That, I feel like, is the one that was just like, you know, you hear the Demiza talking about Crybaby and like what a fucking panic it was to get it done. And it's a great song that she just happily produced her own vocals alone at home. Whereas this one, I'm like, yeah, that could have done with a couple of extra weeks of tweaking.
Yeah, I think the thing with this one, I wrote, production is just not up to the usual Mariah standard.
Yes.
The sense of humour is fun, could have been great, but no.
Yeah.
Even the use of Rhapsodize isn't enough to save this. And I was surprised. I said it seems very B-side or unmastered demo. I think there's potential, but it's not realised.
Yeah.
I think overall it's all there, but it just feels plinky plonky. It's the plinky plonky version of this kind of Mariah song.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where it's just like, where's the atmosphere?
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. When is it being mixed properly?
Yeah.
So yeah, look, it was.
It's still like, you know, she's still,
you know, there's something there, but
it's
just
Mariah and she's amazing. But look, for me, it's a 4. I know that's low for me.
I know. I gave it a 3.
Yeah.
It's not the dreadful ones, but it's
the most amazing song ever. Shush.
We're on to Petals.
Yes.
Written by Mariah, Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, and Big Jim Wright.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we know a lot about this song already. Because
Yes.
it's the origins are all throughout the book. So we probably don't even need to break it down that much. I just wrote that I love a rainy intro.
Oh, yeah. How good
And
is
the
it?
other thing...
So much better than that
this-
terrible rainy intro I was talking about the other week with Madonna.
We still don't know what song it is. The one where it rains.
Not Rain, a different one.
I did think that this was a really great example of what I was trying to articulate when I talked about Outside.
Yes.
Where it's not looking in. It's
No.
not the same. But there's something really effective about this, both lyrically, melodically, and production-wise. And
Yeah.
I think that's, production-wise, is maybe just where Outside fell a little flat for kind of both of us.
I think also Outside felt like a song that was looking outwards at other people and their reactions and how she felt in comparison, in relief to everything else. Whereas this is just a song about relationships and relationships that have impacted on her and ended, I guess, in ways that she's not been okay with. Or and it is like, it's the lyrics are very personal, as we found in the book, but I've always felt that about this song. Like, I've always felt
it's there.
These are real stories, these are about real people. But yeah, I like Petals is just, it's breathtaking. It is just like, this is as far as like favorite ever Mariah Carey songs, this is up there with Vanishing. Like, this is, I know.
I'm pedaling.
Drifting away.
I did write, I think it's simple and powerful and has a melody you can follow quite easily. Not reinventing the wheel yet, completely Mariah and completely its own thing.
Yeah.
And then I was like, little sis and little brother, what's the mystery? Who are these people?
Who are little sis and little brother?
Who are they? As Mariah says in the book. Look, we don't really need to go on and on about it because I gave it an infinity. You've given it infinity. We don't even need to question.
It's pedalfinity.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
absolutely.
Pedals. It is, you know, one day, maybe when we get to the end of this podcast, we need to
Like
assemble our ideal Mariah compilation album.
Yes. Which is going to be much harder for you because you've got
Because
all those infinities.
Yeah. Oh, but I can
go back and just be like, infinity.
I can still pick 10 songs that I just could not live without.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What fun.
That sounds fun.
We'll release it as a playlist on the Spotify.
It's the season finale of this part of the show.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of season finales. Suddenly my face has gotten very bright and I don't know why. Okay, so on to another interlude, which is a rainbow, which was a first listen for me. And I did say I really like the transition from Petals into this.
Yeah.
This interlude really felt like it had substance. It felt like a necessary part of the album, unlike some other interviews that I've heard of other people's as well. Like just in general,
other people's
sometimes interludes you're like, what? I do love a little bit of Janet, there's no acid in this house. But yeah, look, I liked it straight away. And yeah, thoughts?
Oh, Rainbow! Like when you say the album title, this is the tune that comes into my head.
Sure,
because this is Rainbow.
Because that is its name.
Yes, but it's to get beyond that sorrow. It feels like this is almost a coda to "Can't Take That Away," Mariah's theme. Like this feels like this is when you get beyond having been felt shitty about people trying to take things away, and the Lord has guided you where you need to go.
Over the rainbow,
yes,
maybe?
To find the rainbow's end. But yeah, I love it. I know we're not scoring the interludes, but this is...
I did score this one. I gave it a 5.
There you go. It's infinity.
Because it's got like a proper... It's like nearly 3 minutes long. Like
it's 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Whatever. It feels like 3 minutes.
It's 20 seconds longer than the last one.
Is it really?
Yes.
Why did it feel like longer? Because I think there was more to it.
It's almost the same length as like Vulnerability.
Oh, well, Rainbow's better.
You're a strange man.
Oh, yeah. Well, it takes one to know one. So we are up to the last track with its 11 videos. Thank God I Found You. I'm just looking at my notes going, oh God, we're still going to be here for a while. Thank God I Found You, written by Mariah, Jimmy Jam, and Terry Lewis. Mm-hmm. And then I just wrote 98 Degrees, Joe, because I know 98 Degrees, and I was very confused as to why they're on a Mariah song. I did not know who Joe was.
Joe sings the song with her.
Well, I've since discovered that.
He also sings the remix with her in 98 Degrees.
Yes.
Aren't allowed to touch that.
No, they're not allowed.
They're too white.
They're
too white to participate in a remix.
Yeah, that does have a video, so we will touch on it. But this song was actually initially, they were thinking, Jimmy Jam and Terry were thinking of Casey and JoJo.
Oh, wow.
For this. But they were on a different record label, and there were a lot of problems getting clearance and all of that. Whereas they were like, 98 Degrees and Joe, they're still up and coming, so they'll do anything. Because they were like, we want live performances, we want all of it.
Yeah.
So we have a few videos. The first one being a live video featuring Mariah's dog Jack. There's some studio stuff and more Mariah scribbles, but mostly just Mariah, Joe, and 98 Degrees singing to an audience. So it's kind of live-ish.
I love that on this album there are 2 songs that feature boy bands who we only know because one of them went out with a more famous woman, like Brian McFadden, who was going out with Delta for all that time. And this one...
Oh, and don't forget Kerry Katona from Atomic Kitten.
Kerry Katona! And Nick Lachey, who was married to Jessica Simpson. And the only reason we know him is because she didn't know if it was chicken or fish.
And I think I liked... And also her amazing duet with Jewel. If you don't know it, look it up.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
The best duet is Nick Lachey and Jessica Simpson singing A Whole New World on the Aladdin Blu-ray.
I have said it before and I'll say it again. Jessica Simpson is the only person on this earth who can both over and under sing the same song at the same time.
I know. You've heard her version of Angels by Robbie Williams.
And through it. It's like, what are you doing? Stop that.
When
Stop it.
When she was 16, she had a song called I Want to Love You Forever that literally had the lyrics.
And this is all I'm asking of you.
Pour yourself all over me and I'll cherish every drop here on my knees. You're a teenager. You don't sing those lyrics. How did your dad let that happen?
I think you will find he wrote it.
He probably did.
Yes. But yeah, look, I never quite understood what was happening there. But then she had all of her issues and now she's like come through the other side and I think she's quite fun now. Yeah. I'm like, oh, you're fun. I wish we could. No, we can't have a drink. So for the second video, I don't know how we got there. Anyway, the second video was the Make It Last remix, as you mentioned. Yes. Mariah is in a cowboy hat, and I'm not here for it.
Oh, and the braids. No.
Yeah, that was never my favorite.
Do you know what I love? I love that Mariah went to cowboy hat and braids before Madonna.
Oh God, Madonna.
And then Madonna, everyone just went, "Oh, what are you doing?" And Mariah's like, "No, yeah, I made that mistake." Ask Joe, he'll tell you.
Yeah, he's like all about it. But Nas is also here. Joe returns, which is fun. There's not much happening. They're at a gig. It's smoky.
It's weird that everyone seems to be smoking, but you never see anyone smoking.
No. And I just wrote, this version is fine, but I'm very tired and I'm taking nothing in.
I quite like that version. I think I like that version better than the album one, to be honest.
I think by the time I get to this part of the album, I'm like, who am I?
Yeah.
I've passive smoked a bit as well. So I'm a little contact high, okay? Don't know what's happening.
It is weird to have a single as the last song. Almost like it was an afterthought.
Yeah. Almost like we stapled it on. Then we have the third video, which is the homecoming version, which is Mariah on a sports ball field. The Lachey family singers show up and sing a bit. Mariah wanders the school halls, which would be weird, except Gwen Stefani just released a song where she's completely unironically in a school gym and she's not the coach. But overall, this is probably the best video, surprisingly, even though it was kind of slapped together, because it's got the live feel, it's got the performance feel, but it's also just like produced. Like people actually were like, oh, let's all get together, we'll actually shoot a video. Yeah. Okay, great. So I kind of thought of this one. Look, it's nice, there's nothing to write home about, but it's pleasant. Another unearned key change, but it doesn't feel too 98 degreesy, which is nice.
Yeah. In fact, it like I said with the Against All Odds single version, I feel like 98 degrees are just there so Mariah can go, yep, you keep doing that, and then I'll show you how to sing.
Yeah. Do you know what, though? They actually apologized to, I think it was, Jimmy Jam? Because they really didn't have much time to perform it. Like they had like an hour to get it done, and they keep, every time they see him, they apologize for the vocals, and he's like, it's fine. Like he thinks it's great. He's like, whatever, I'm happy with this. Yeah. But they were not happy with. But they're sort of there as background, so it's kind of all right. They're no man with teeth from Westlife, called Joey. There's always a Joey.
There's always a Joey.
But I will say, even though this wasn't like, oh my God, my favorite, the chorus is nice and it has sort of grown on me for each listen. So I gave it a 4, another 4. Go on.
This is not my favorite.
Ooh.
I like the remix. I like the one with Nas a lot better because it feels a bit more Mariah. Like this one feels like Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis doing Diane Warren and David Foster. Like, it's like, there's that weird fucking bell harp thing that they drag this thing. Thank God. Like it just, and like it sounds like every other song sounded like this that year in 99. Like everything.
I don't remember. Like I literally wrote, I'm surprised this went to number 1 based on Mariah's other songs that didn't.
Yeah.
Like in comparison, going, there were some really great songs that didn't go to number 1.
I think this was, did this come out in summer perhaps?
And also America loves them some Baby Cheeses.
Oh, yeah.
So Baby Cheeses, 98 Degrees
Baby Cheeses, then Mariah's theme should have been number 1 because, she actually says the Lord will guide you where you need to go.
You know what? Oh my God. This is how Mariah got around. I've decided just now. This is how Mariah got around them saying, "Oh, we can't release it." Blah blah. She's like, "All right, I'm going to go find people from other countries that have had number 1s, or boy bands that have had number 1s, and I'm going to put them on my song."
Yeah.
And then you're going to be like, "Oh no, we have to release it." Oops.
We have to release it. It's got 98 degrees.
But she would not allow 98 degrees. And you can't take that away. She's like, no. Mariah's degrees.
But yeah, this feels like a kind of Franken song, like a Mariah song, and then there's like a boy band there, and they don't, it feels like it's like Mariah's amazing, Jay-Z is amazing, Usher's great, Debrat, Missy are great, Snoop's great. who are these fuckwits?
She has said that Joe was her favourite R&B singer.
Yeah, he's great. Like, he sings really, but I like the white bread Five Boy Nation. I don't understand why they're there. Like, it's, I know that was a thing at the time. Like, there was
I love that you're going off. Normally I'm going off.
I just, yeah. Like, I like the song. Like I said, the remix is great. Like, she and Joe really gel together and is a great, great version. And it doesn't have that kind of, I'm trying to be a cloying pop ballad, boy band.
Imagine
hit.
if Snuffleupagus was on it.
Oh, no, it'd be plinky plonk hell. Like, Big Jim's doing a much better job there. But yeah, it's not my favourite. I think I'm going to 3.5 it.
Oh. Is that your lowest score that you've given? Wow. Wow, you gave an underscore.
Yeah.
You gave less than I did.
Yeah.
Again, right.
Because it just, like, I was fine for After Tonight to feel like a box ticking, commercial hit, and like, because it had the unique, amazing vocal performance of Mariah doing a duet with herself, singing 2 lead vocals. Amazing. But here it's a boy band and some other guy, and then Mariah singing over the top of them because she can. And it just feels like, like,
she didn't even have a microphone. She was behind them.
Yeah, she was in another studio. But like people who whinge about the whistle tones, and like, oh, it just feels like showing off. And it's like, well, this one feels more like showing off, because it's like you've actually brought some people in who aren't as good as you to sing over the top of, and it's fine, but I much prefer it when she's battling with herself as a vocalist.
Oh, for sure.
It's weird. Like, I used to like this song. I used to really like this song, but hearing it again, like, today, like, I like the remix, as I said, but this album version, I'm like, yeah, no, and also we've had Petals and the Rainbow Interlude, and then it's like, oh, what are you doing here?
Yeah, it doesn't make
What
much
are
sense,
you doing here, annoying single at the bottom of the album?
Yeah.
Like a sheep's dag.
Yeah, it kind of is, isn't it? We could have just ended on Rainbow and be done with it.
Yes. Like, this could have replaced, any of the others. Anyway. Whatever.
All right, so we've got a little overall. Let's discuss it overall. So I wrote a little blurb, as I like to do. This was a funny one. So on my first listen, I found it, because I mentioned in the Butterfly episode that took me a few kind of goes to understand it. And I think it's the pressure I was putting on myself, but also the complexity of a lot of the songs. And the fact that there are some incredibly high highs.
Yeah, amazingly high highs.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of good stuff in the middle, and then there's the dreadful ones.
The beautiful ones, which is one of her best covers she's ever done. And Cisco sings this song.
But with Rainbow, I found it it was an easier listen.
Yes.
Which was good and bad.
Yeah.
Because I thought, it's easier because it's probably more consistent because of things like the interludes that she's really found a way to work them.
Yeah.
But then also because, there's not as many peaks and troughs. So, it's just kind of like, it's all fine. So I feel like my scores, there was a lot around like the 4-ish mark, and that may look better than some of the other albums.
Yeah.
But I was like, even with that said, I don't necessarily think I would say it's better than Butterfly.
Yeah. No, it could never be better than Butterfly.
Yeah, I felt like, something like Petals, just cut that out and put that on Butterfly instead of the dreadful ones. And then cut out Heartbreaker and remix and put that on Butterfly. And that's a great album. Get rid of Baby Doll, put Crybaby. Get rid of Baby Doll, Crybaby instead. No. But I will say, the thing that surprised me when I re-listened, some of the songs did have lower scores originally, and I actually enjoyed them more the second time. I think it was because I was so jarred by some of the 2000s productions, and kind of surprised. So, even like Ex-Girlfriend, I was like, oh yeah, it is a little better on re-listen. So yeah, how do you feel about this album overall?
I've always thought that it always felt like a more mature version of Emotions, in that it was done in a hurry. Yeah. I'm really impressed that she absolutely delivered 80% of a great album for a contract she was no longer really happy with and didn't want to, like, you know, she's like...
That's true. She could have just been like, nah.
She could have, I mean, she could have done a Gloria Estefan and done an entire album of terrible covers that no one wants to ever hear again.
It's the best album ever.
You turn the beat around.
Let's go astray.
But yeah, she's made quite an effort and written some great songs, and also just the revelation of her working with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, like that's a combination that I go, oh yeah. And as we've discovered, like their new song they've done together, which she wrote, is amazing. So yeah, I'm kind of like, on one hand I'm like, there's things about it I can't stand, but I like the bulk of it. It's just, you know, and also, you know, there was a lot, like when it came out, there was a lot of Mariah's difficult narrative going on because of Tommy and the company trying to paint her as a precious princess. I think also you would, like, it was always going to struggle to be, as again, like with the debut album and Emotions, like we've got this amazing record that she's worked for a very long time on, really honed her craft for her first album. Same with Butterfly. She has kind of rediscovered herself as an artist. She's really kind of worked hard and kind of reached a new level, and then had to pump out this album in about 12 and a half minutes. And
while also working on Glitter.
While also trying to
to
make a film. And yeah, so it suffers because of the rushedness. Yeah. But I do love the interludes. Like, I think she's really put a lot of thought into what it sounds like as an album, as opposed to, I'm just going to throw a whole bunch of songs together and just hope the fuck they fly, which a lot of her contemporaries do, given that they don't write their own songs.
Some of them don't sing their own songs.
That is true. But yeah, it's good. Like, I still have a lot of fondness for it, and I remember all of it, but I feel like it's weirdly less than the sum of its parts. Like, there are some amazing songs on here, but the whole album just feels just a little bit undercooked.
Yeah, I kind of see what you mean.
Even though it's got Petals and it's got Heartbreaker and Mariah's theme.
Well, I mean, adding up the scores of mine, the average calculator that I used gave it a higher score than Butterfly, and I put it down. Yeah. I was like, no. Yeah. You may think that because on paper it says that. Yeah. But no. So do you have a favourite song on this album?
I think Petals is my favourite song. But I would actually like to make an argument for just the bit of After Tonight where she sings for herself.
Oh my God.
That's my favourite tiny bit of the album. It's the little bit I could pull out like a fly's wing. No, Petals.
My favourite song from this album is... from 2 minutes to 2 minutes 6 in After Tonight.
Because I was almost going to go with the Rainbow interlude, and then I'm like, well, if that bit of After Tonight was an interlude, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, sure.
But no, I reckon Petals. Petals is like the most mature part of the album. It's the most kind of, it feels like this is Mariah really pouring it all in. Unlike Outside, it's a time where the lyrical and melodic and production content all seem to mesh in a way that, you know, I love Outside, but as we said, the production feels a little bit plinky plonky and finessey.
Yeah, I know. It's such a shame.
Yeah.
It doesn't take away from the song or its meaning, of course.
No. But I really like Petals. I love how personal it is.
Yeah. And now that I'm thinking about chopping that last song off, I'm like, oh, that would be such a good way to end it with going into Rainbow, the end. So my favourite song, I said mood dependent, Petals for that, exactly what you just said. Or Heartbreaker if I just want to booty pop and party.
Which Heartbreaker? There's two.
I think the original, just because it's got the memories attached. Yeah. But I do really like the remix as well.
The remix is good. It's dirty.
And that may be what I play now.
Yeah.
As in, like, now that we've listened. Because, you know, as we've said, we might do a little countdown sort of style episode. We'll see what happens. And a least favourite. I think I know which is yours, but
Look,
Ask
it's
the question.
I mean, it could be. Did I do that? But I kind of like the funness of. Yeah, I'm going to go. Thank God I found you.
It's okay. We can split the difference because I went with did I do that? And as for an overall score, so as I mentioned, I put it into a little average calculator and it came out at a 4.5, but Butterfly's one came out at a 4, which I bumped Butterfly up to 4.25. I was like, this can't be more than Butterfly, so I put it down to a 4, which is still respectable. And I actually have a little thing that I'll touch on, but you give me your overall rainbow score.
I'm going to give it a 4.5. I know.
Is this the first one you've not infinitized?
I think so.
I think you even did with Emotions.
Yeah. Well, Emotions had The Wind and Till the End of Time. And this has
had two good
many
songs.
great songs on it. But it's just... Yeah. I think also, like, I have a lot of bitter memories about it because I felt like she was treated so badly at the time. And I shouldn't be letting that affect how I feel about the album as a whole. But I feel like there's just... Yeah, there's just something missing.
Yeah. I even remember at the time knowing that. I remember seeing it came out, and I guess because Butterfly was so huge.
Yeah, it's massive.
To then go into Rainbow, and I think because, this sounds silly, but maybe because of what I do, the design of it even seemed like, oh, it's just kind of like a slightly cheaper Butterfly. Like, oh, we'll just quickly shoot her on a white background.
Yeah.
And oh, we'll slap a rainbow on. It didn't feel like it had, and that's not, again, a Mariah
I
thing.
dug out my Butterfly CDs the other day. I have 4
Of course you do.
of the whole album. Because it came with 2 different covers.
I didn't, yeah. So I had to get 2 of each. Oh my God, you're an idiot. My favorite thing is that Jerry Halliwell's debut album had 2 covers.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
The only
And
thing
no
was...
good songs.
No. I mean, I love a little
Look
bit...
at me. I'm singing
like a
as
little bit-
flat as can be.
I do love a little bit of Machica Latino, but Lift Me Up should never have
Machica
been number 1.
Latino.
But my
like
favorite thing... Stop it. My favorite thing about it, though, was...
Come what may. I will love you.
I'm dying. Oh my God, he's dying. But the Jerry one, you didn't actually have to buy both versions because all you had to do was invert.
Yeah, I know.
It literally was just flipped over.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh yeah, they got you with that one.
Yeah, that's a trick.
But I did do a little something where I started to think now, Mariah's albums, I left out any compilations or the live stuff. I was like, where are they sitting for me? So I thought I'd say it now and then we'll see if it changes as we get further in. Because I feel like this is kind of the first part of her. It's the first 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, we've sewn up the 90s. So Daydream is my infinitized album. We've got the debut is also kind of top tier for me. So they're kind of your top tier. Then I've got Butterfly and Music Box sitting just under, just a little under. And then I feel like it's the Rainbow and the Emotions with Emotions.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe dropping under Rainbow.
Oh, yeah.
But only for consistency.
Yeah.
And we'll see. That could change. I might turn around and go, oh no, Emotions over Rainbow. We'll see.
Yeah.
And Butterfly may go up. We'll see.
I mean, I honestly think this is a more consistent album than some others that are yet to come. But yeah, I'm
really curious. I really don't know these next few.
Oh, yeah. You wait.
You'll be like two.
Just, I think when she left Sony, she was abandoned by some producers that really could have done some amazing things with her great writing.
Sure.
Anyway.
Yeah, okay, sure.
I think fine.
It's fine. I think this brings us to the end.
Yeah, it does. Whew.
Ooh.
That was a slog.
All right. We're only double DP.
I know.
So. At the end of the podcast, baby. Almost there, almost home. You could probably say, but you won't because of copyright. So are going to have a little moment of a break.
Yes.
Just to gather our bearings to go into the gauntlet that will be All That Glitters.
Oh my God. Because there's a movie as well as an album.
Film. And a whole section of a book.
And some firecracker nonsense.
Yeah, we're going to have some
a lot of regular name bullshit
I'm
happening.
so excited. Imagine if we get to it and I'm suddenly like, I'm not Prolo. Like, just, I don't think that'll happen because I don't think she had much to do with it. But still, it would be funny if we've been talking about this whole time and everyone's like, just wait.
Just wait.
But, so we will be going into that. It probably won't be a huge break anyway.
No.
It'll
be
give
fair.
ourselves a minute.
Give you time to catch your breath because we have been ploughing through albums.
We have
like
been
crazy.
Plowing.
So yes,
that octuplet DP was a lot.
The 16 octomums worth of
girthy, lengthy.
The reverse octomum is hurting me still.
So yes, but don't worry. There's lots of stuff to come.
We've got 2 whole more sections.
2 whole sections. We've got a lot more albums.
Yeah, so many
There's
more albums.
More illustrations and footage to be released into the world on the socials.
So exciting. All right. Well, until a few weeks from now. Bye, Lamely.
Bye. We got to get us some sleep.
How is it 5 a.m.?